again. My name is Margot Miller. I am with Tech Manitoba, so over in Canada, and I'm also the host of Start Podcast. And I'm so pleased today to get to introduce to you a few amazing speakers. So the first right now is Monica Kumar, who is the Senior Vice President of Nutanix. So this impressive woman you're about to hear from has over 25 years in the technology industry, having spent over 2 decades at Oracle, most recently as the VP of Autonomous Database Cloud, and has managed a $20 billion portfolio at that point. Yes, that was a B, before joining Nutanix. She is a thought leader and an expert in cloud computing and the future of work. She is also an advocate for women in leadership and for diversity and inclusion, and has even won awards for her work in the community, including being recognized in 2017 in the Powerful Women of the Bay, and also as a woman of influence by the Silicon Valley Business Journal. So her motto is less perfection, more authenticity. And that is what she's going to speak about today. So welcome, Monica Kumar. And I know you don't have slides today, so I'm just going to throw it over to you to get right into it.
Thank you so much, Margot. I hope everybody can hear me okay. And thank you so much to Anna for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here today. So what I thought I'll do for the next 20 minutes is talk a little bit about my journey and then really dive into this whole notion of perfection versus authenticity, and how do we as women, as mothers, daughters, career women, leaders, navigate this perfection and authenticity, sort of paradox in a way. So a little bit about me, 25 plus years in tech, as Margot said. I'm a mechanical engineer that turned into a marketeer because I realized very early on in my career that I love being in the front office, telling stories, connecting with customers, building relationships with people in the front office as opposed to the back office on the factory floor. And really what I do now is I focus on taking complex technology solutions to market with a view of delivering this notion of lifetime value to our customers, with a view of delighting customers. So really focusing on the customer experience piece. Now, over the years, as a mother, as a daughter, as a career woman, I realized that I'm my own worst enemy. And now let me explain to you what I mean by that. We women are amazing at so many things. We multitask and we can really put the other half of the world to shame, right, on that account in how many things we can do. I mean, how many of you start your day with a list that may look something like, breakfast for family, pack kids' lunches, get to work by 8 a.m. Now it's Zoom, so like we don't even have to travel much or drive that long. In the middle, somehow you put a load of laundry in. Maybe you're getting ready for dinner somehow. Maybe you paid a bill. Maybe there was a little emergency of, something ran out. So you went running to run an errand in like 20 minutes in between. Then you got dinner ready, like you did a whole day, like 10 hours. Then you got dinner on the table. Then you did all the dishes, whatnot. At the end of the day, you still have a long list to do because maybe there's homework the kids need to do. Maybe there's some other bills that need to be paid. Anyway, the point I'm making is we defy the laws of physics and we get so much done. But yet, how many of us go to bed feeling guilty about things we didn't do the way they were supposed to be done? You know what? I've done that to myself for so many years. I beat myself up for so many things I didn't do right. And I could have done more and differently. So this pressure to be perfect is the pressure we put on ourselves. A perfect daughter, a perfect partner, a perfect mother, perfect at work, perfect with friends. We've developed this notion of what perfect means in each of these relationships. And I guess the question to ask then would be, who defines what perfect is? Every time I've asked myself this question, I've looked inside me, I've asked my friends, my colleagues, there's a different answer. There's a different definition of perfection. And you know why? The reason is because there's no such thing as a universal perfect. Let's look at examples. What happens when you try to be perfect? So at work, maybe you have had an idea and we didn't speak up because it was not perfect in your mind. What happened as a result? As a result, we lost time. to market, time to value. We probably slowed business down, and we probably didn't put the best spotlight on ourselves in terms of showing up at work with creative ideas and really working together as a team. At home, I can tell you this. I've tried to perfectly organize everything, and I've spent endless hours, maybe on the weekends when my kids were young, cleaning closets, organizing my closet, cleaning the kitchen, cooking, baking, whatnot. And I was thinking, I was trying to achieve this notion of perfect organization and cleanliness. Could I spend more of that time with my kids? Yeah, I mean, there's a certain sense of cleanliness, I want, but did I have to label every box and, fold everything a certain way? Not really. Kids didn't care that the house was so perfect looking or the closet was so amazing. The only person that cared was me, and I spent hours doing it. And I didn't feel great after that because I could have done other things that were more important with that time. With friends, again, how many of you are looking for that perfect time to match schedules and meet up, and and then time passes by, and weeks go by and months go by, and you haven't talked to your best friends for months because you're waiting for that perfect schedule to meet up? Oh, why not send them a quick text? Why not do an impromptu call? Why are we so geared towards perfection? So the point I'm trying to make here is that perfection gets in the way of progress. Really, perfection slows us down. I think perfection makes us procrastinate, in my opinion. And I mean it in the nicest possible way. And so therefore, I'm personally now aspiring for less perfection and more authenticity. I think that less perfection and more authenticity are the same sides, two sides of the same coin. So I want to talk about authenticity now. Now, my daughter tells me, so I have two kids who are grown up now, and so I've been there, done that in terms of the career, family, working 12, 14-hour days, raising two kids. I even had an extended family. My parents lived with me for years. My in-laws lived with me for years. So huge family that I managed while working. My daughter often tells me that I'm a walking Bollywood plotline. So for those of you who watch Bollywood movies, they're full of drama, full of emotion. I mean, the cornier the movie, the better it is for me. And just like life, they're full of emotions and drama. So, but no matter how much drama and how bad the situation is, ultimately, if you watch the really stereotypical Bollywood movie, things always work out in the end, somehow. And somehow everybody lives happily ever after. So where am I going with this? I guess where I'm going with this is that there's this stereotype about a stoic leader, a leader that keeps every emotion locked up and makes these dispassionate decisions all based on logic, right? A leader who doesn't put any feelings out there for people to react to connect with, or to guide them. Well, guess what? Gone are the days where leaders needed to look a certain way, act a certain way, speak a certain way, know everything, are never wrong, are always in control. I don't think that exists anymore. I mean, look around you, look around us. We see leaders of all kinds, all backgrounds, all experiences, all different ways of dressing, talking, expressing themselves. I think the most important thing that binds us together as leaders is that we care about people. We care about building teams. We care about lifting others up, right? We care about building the next generation of leaders. Therefore, leaders need to connect with people. And think about it. When you connect with people, what is it that that inspires you about people? When you think somebody is more real, when you can actually connect with somebody heart to heart, is when you actually feel like you're getting to know that person. So I think it's also important that, just like Bollywood movies, at least to me, that we don't overlook the role of our emotions in how we do our work. Leaders need to recognize that their people have emotions and emotional reactions to ordinary stresses in their jobs, and also realize that as leaders, they have the same human reactions and same human emotions. So I truly embrace the emotions of my team. Of course, they get to see my drama once in a while. They get to embrace mine because I put them all out there. If you work with me, you really don't have a choice but seeing my emotional side. And that is just me. As far as I'm concerned, if you're not authentic, you can't be a good leader. It's really that. And the fact is that we all bring our real selves to work every day. We can't just leave half of ourselves at home, right? So now the question is, well, being authentic, what does that mean? Is it going to somehow create an environment of complaints and negativity at work? So I was reading this article by Susan David, who's a Harvard psychologist, a TED speaker, and she's the author of this bestseller book called Emotional Agility. And she says that authenticity is often misinterpreted as an open door for complaints and negativity, particularly in the workplace. Leaders worry sometimes that an invitation to be authentic will result in people like acting with impunity, or there will be somehow a downward negative impact on the culture. But actually, to the contrary, being authentic doesn't mean stewing in anger or sadness all the time. When we are authentic, we are open to learning from other people. We are open to emotions of other people. And we are not driven by these, but we're just open to learning and embracing them. So rather than acting out of emotion, we are just there to listen to people and their emotional, needs at the time. And we are really embracing the person as a whole, right? So in essence, being authentic is about the ability to be real, to show up to yourself and your community with emotional honesty, in my opinion. That's what really it is. And it's acting from a place of your value and your core beliefs that you have as a person. And I believe, and this is what Susan David also said, that authenticity is a fundamental cornerstone of emotional agility. And it's really an essential tool for organizations going forward. Now think about that, this year, right, with the pandemic. Who are the leaders out there who are actually making a difference and making an impact? It's people who are connecting with their teams. It's people who are rising above and beyond just being transactional about, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? To people who are actually being more relational, focusing on connecting with people. So I do think that authenticity is a very, very important trait for a leader. And I'll tell you this, from my perspective, I put my heart into what I do, and I put that out there for my team to see, right? They can see that, and they know that they need to put their hearts into it too, and to push ahead and get things done. And I'm very open to my team expressing their emotions and their real feelings to me. And I feel like, just like a Bollywood movie, yeah, it can be a bit of a roller coaster at times, but almost like every Bollywood movie plot, I also realize that it also brings people closer, and it's okay if we make mistakes. We can quickly fix it if we are real with each other. And, in the end, everything works out. So again, perfection, authenticity, I think perfection really slows down progress. And so my whole focus these days is really not to worry about being perfect, because it's only my definition of perfect, right? But it's really to focus on being authentic. So that way we can build the real relationships with people at work and really be the leader that we need to be. So 3 things I want to share with you in terms of, how to think about this and how to kind of embrace some of these ideas in real life. I was reading, so I'm very avid on LinkedIn, and I forget who posted this, and this is such a great, it opened up my eyes. We've heard this cliched phrase called juggling, so many balls in the air, right? We all juggle balls, and we have all these things we are doing on a daily basis. This person said, and I think she was a woman, who said, look, not all balls are the same. Some balls are made of glass and some balls are made of plastic. And I was like, wow, what a great way to describe that. So think about this. When you have 10 things you have to get done that day, or 20 things, you're juggling 20 balls. Well, some of those balls are plastic balls. So it's okay for them to drop on the ground. It is fine. They won't break. But some balls are glass balls. And if they drop, they will break. So really the goal should be to figure out on that any given day or week or month or whatever time period, what types of balls are we juggling and what, can break, or what can fall on the ground. So, and based on that, I think we should be making our decisions of what to focus on, rather than trying to be perfect at everything and trying to keep all the balls in the air. So that's my one big sort of takeaway that I'm trying to embrace myself to is, focus on the glass balls. Don't let them fall. The rest of them can fall. I'll pick it back up and I'll get on it, right? And then the second piece I would really, talk about it, that just please be kind to yourself. I think the biggest thing that happens is in all of this is this perfection journey. is we forget about ourselves. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to stop being hard on ourselves. You know, our kids don't know that you bake that brownie from scratch at midnight. Guess what? Whether you do a store-bought brownie or you bake something at midnight, they will probably enjoy it the same exact way. So will their classmates, so will the teachers if you send it to school with them. For those kids who are still going to school, by the way. So the point is, you might be killing yourself, being so hard on yourself that, hey, I have to bake something from scratch because my kid has to take some snacks to school. But the people who are actually enjoying it don't even know you did all that for them. So please stop being hard on yourself. Let people see you for who you really are. It's okay to be vulnerable. I've found it very hard, by the way. I'm also a person who likes to have everything buttoned up. And over the years, I realized it's okay for me to share with people like, hey, I'm a bit overwhelmed today. I have a lot going on. I share my off days with people sometimes and say, hey, today is not my best day. So if I come across as being a bit standoffish, if I say anything disrespectful, please call me out on it. You know, I want to be checked on that, but please don't take it personally because I'm having an off day. So I really think that it's okay for people to see who you really are, a real person that makes mistakes sometimes and that says, I'm sorry for it, right? Just because you're a team leader doesn't mean you can't say, I'm sorry. To me, actually, it makes you a more real person if you say that. A person who doesn't know all the answers. But at the end of the day, a person who cares about people, who builds teams and communities and empowers people, inspires others to realize their potential, and is a real champion of people, that's what I'm hoping we will all focus on. So focus on the progress, the people, not the perfection. There's this quote from Salvador Dali, as I was looking on the internet, which says, have no fear of perfection because you'll never reach it. And I think that is so true. I don't know what that is. I've never reached it anyway. So to end, I would just say, you know, let your light shine. Focus on progress, not perfection. Focus on people. Focus on being authentic. So that was my short kind of prepared remarks. If there's any questions or comments, I'm happy to take it. I know we were running a little bit over time, so maybe I brought it back on schedule.
You did great, Monica. And I was actually laughing out loud when you were describing the brownie example, that they won't know either way. But Monica, in your presentation, you could really sincerely feel your passion. And to use your own words back to you, you felt very authentic. So thank you so much for that and for joining us today. And there were many people who agreed with you in the chat on your comments on perfection, that leaders no longer need to look or act a certain way, and that we all have to stop feeling like we have to be perfect. And I know there's a lot of people that agree with you on that one.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
One person did ask, if we do have a quick second here, Monica, do you have any notable mentors?
Several mentors in my journey. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it is me. I've had many mentors, both women and men. And a lot of times it's people that I never thought would be my mentors. But again, it all started with relationships I built. I never sought them as mentors to begin with. But these are people who became my champions over time because we built great relationships. So I really don't, I can't emphasize enough the focus on building relationships and really connecting with people on something that's meaningful to both of you. You know, that you can build your relationship off. So I've had many mentors. I follow a lot of people I love, for example, my people that I idolize, Melinda Gates, for example, Michelle Obama. These are like my idols. And I see the amount of great work they're doing and such authentic personalities out there. They're not afraid to talk about difficult issues and not afraid to take the heat at times. And I really admire people like that.
Thanks so much, Monica. And please stay with us for the rest of the day. We have 2 more amazing speakers to go through. So I will welcome now Angela. So thanks so much, Monica.